Nice.
So, it's February. It's February, and we know what that means. It's Black History Month. And I've heard this question posed a lot over the years. Because, Black History Month is great. When it hits February 1st, the commercials start rolling out. You see the special Black History Month commercials, just for that time being. From February 1st to February 28th, there's some channels will not the only one to give you a lot of Black History Month commercials and different stuff like that. But you also hear some people talk about why does Black History Month need to just get celebrated in one month and then kind of, in a sense, poof. After that, it's not really talked about. We know as Black people, every day Black history, you know what I mean? Like, we talk Black history any day, all day, every day, it doesn't matter. But there's other people say, hey, let's take away the month, the Black History Month. Let just Black history be boom right there all the time because it's a huge part of American history. It's a huge part of United States history. So, we have the question, as you guys can see, posed at the bottom of your screen. Should Black History Month just get highlighted one month? How you feel about that? This goes out to everybody, Marv, you as well. We all gonna have a conversation about this.
Should it be highlighted? Should it get highlighted in one month? No, because as you can see when you dive into Black history, you see the posts and you see, the accomplishments that's happened throughout American history. It's all through the back of Black Americans or Black slaves. It's all through their Black. So highlighted, of course not. This country could not function if there was not Black people in this country. It just couldn't. And that's just fact. How you're mobile, how you eat, how you travel. It's all through the backs of Black people. So, but the thing with me is, I never got upset about Black History Month. For those who have Black pride, you celebrate that shit every day of the year. Obviously, we get a month to really push it out and highlight it to the rest. It's the shortest month of the year. I mean, at the end of the day, a Black man chose that month. So that never really bothered me about what month it is or how because it's short. We use that month. We share what we need to share, but as Black people, we celebrate all the time. And it's never been something we even talked about. When I see Black people, it's always a celebration. It's always a celebration when you see another one of yours alive and doing well. So should it only get highlighted for 1 month? No, it shouldn't. However, I feel like it's on us to celebrate our history throughout.
I feel you 100%. Shout out to my sis, Michelle, in the building. How you doing, Michelle? Black history, speaking from a personal standpoint, growing up in my school system, Black history, Black culture was never anything highlighted. I went to I was in the Metco program, if some of you know what that's about. My school was predominantly white. I was like one of 17 kids in a graduating class. But all my years being out there, when it came time for Black History Month, if it wasn't me and the other Black kids and then the one Black guidance counselor hyping up Black History Month, my school wasn't going to do anything about it. And it wasn't really a conversation. We already know Black history wasn't getting highlighted in history class. That's something we already know. So me coming up, I definitely hear and understand the man, it should be more than a month, because where I'm coming from, that month is all it was, and then it just disappeared in my years in school. After February was gone, from kindergarten to senior year of high school, after February was gone, Black history was out the picture and out the conversation during my school days. And I mean, I understand both sides of it. Everything you're saying, and then the fact that, people want to say, hey, don't just say, oh, Black History Month is February, Black History Month. Let's have Black history be a part of everything all the time. Like you said, you meet other Black people, bam, what's up? How you doing? The history's there regardless. But I hear both sides of the conversation for sure. We got some comments coming in here.
Yeah, so highlighting what Barbette said. Barbette said, I would agree with highlighting Black history for 1 month if this country told the truth of Black history on a regular basis. Until that happens, Black history is every month. Word.
I agree with that.
That's real.
Wholeheartedly. Like I just said, we all know in our generation, and maybe things will change down the line. Let's hope, pray, have our fingers crossed. But growing up in our generation, Black history wasn't a real topic of conversation in history class. It was not. You'll learn about the Pilgrims, and you'll learn about World War II, but it wasn't a, you know how classes broken up. Okay, and now for this part of the term, we're gonna talk about this. Now you're gonna learn about World War II, and then you got a test or a project on World War II. And now you're gonna learn about the Holocaust, and then you have a test or a project on it like that. Black history needs its own portion of something like that, where you make kids learn about it, and then not only do they learn about it, they taking a test on it. And not only taking a test on it, maybe they're doing a solo project or a group project on it. Because like you said, Marv, a lot of the pieces and aspects of this country is off of the backs of Black people. You can't say the United States came together without the hands that Black people had in it. So I agree with what Barbette said 100%.
Yeah, man. I mean, they don't teach us enough. They don't teach us enough. I mean, in this program like that, of course, they're not going to teach us enough. But it's programmed to not have, especially if you are a Black student who goes to a predominantly white school.
That was me.
It's programmed that you don't see the greatness of your own people. I mean, if you're fortunate enough to have parents or family or older siblings to guide you along that way, that's a blessing, which was for me. I'm grateful. I had my father who, you know, besides whatever there was, the BS they were teaching us of Martin Luther King, came back and was telling me about real heroes, of real people who was doing real situations. And, you know, once you get older, you want to dive in deeper, and you really want to dive and say, okay, so what really happened? How did this go? And the good thing about Black History Month, you get to learn about things you never even thought could happen. Like, oh, a Black person made a spatula. Oh, Black people are really the ones who created the Uber device. When they boycotted buses, they had to call people in cars to come pick them up and go to another. That was off the thoughts of Black people. Oh, I never even thought about that. That's the importance of having a Black History Month, of learning what we really created out here.
Very true, very true. I see Wes's comment. I think he's agreeing with me with the whole idea of, you know, in school, if there was anything talked about, you might have heard a little bit about MLK or Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, but I agree, Wes. There's a lot more men and women today to help shape the world that, you know, that don't get talked about enough.
Right. I mean, the MLKs, the Harriet Tubmans, you know, those are great leaders.
Yeah, absolutely.
But those were safe leaders as well. Or if they weren't safe leaders, they tried to make them as safe as they could. Where they were just all for peace, and she stood up for the bus, and that's all they don't get into the nitty gritty of what really happened down there, because they want to push you as a kid to understand that it's not like that no more. Everything's sweet. Racism's gone. Yeah, we were bad before or whatever, but hey, things have changed. Nah, get to the nitty gritty. What happened when the Black people did fight back? Why could we never heard about Black people fighting back? We heard about the peaceful marches. We hear about the sit-ins. I want to hear about Black people fighting back. Never heard about Black Panther in my life.
I promise you I never heard about Black Panthers all of my years in middle school, high school. I never heard about the Black Panthers. All stuff I had to gain knowledge about after the fact. But that's just how education is. And I feel as if, you know, our generation and the generations coming up, you know, have definitely fully have the opportunity to change that. You know, I have a privilege now working in a school system where, you know, I've seen a lot of the teachers that I work with, they don't hesitate to bring that knowledge to the forefront of our students. You know, And unfortunately, still it's mostly the black teachers who are doing that. And you just hope that all teachers, not just black, but all teachers who know about the history of this country will push that forward. And I think, again, like I said, our current generations, and as the younger kids gain knowledge through things they're living through and the things they're learning, it'll become a part of the education they're receiving. You can't have a U.S. history class and I don't hear Black Panthers or the nitty gritty of what was happening in the history of this country, because it's huge. It's a major aspect that a lot of school systems unfortunately leave out.
For sure. And I mean, like you said, as a black male educator, and all black male educators, black women educators, when you are put in those situations as an educator and you have people coming up under you, I think it's our responsibility to teach the real. The knowledge that we didn't gain at the age that they were, we need to pass that along. And luckily, you know, they're growing up in a whole different generation than us. Like, if we didn't get the information about the Black Panthers and things like that, it'd most likely be in a book. It wouldn't be on Twitter. We didn't have that. It wouldn't be on Instagram. Wouldn't be on the internet. Things like, it's more accessible for these young students to gain these knowledge than it was for us to gain it. You know, something we'd have to either see it on a special on TV or really dig deep in the library to when it's in our faces. And now it's there. We can easily tell a kid, oh, just type in Nat Turner, and you can get quick information on Nat Turner. You go on YouTube and see what really happened. So I think, you know, with the younger generation and just having conversations with them, they're so much more in tune than I ever was at that age. Like, the conversations I have with them about social justice and things, they're on it. When I was in 7th, 8th grade, man, I'm thinking about when Dragon Ball Z is coming up next. Like, this young generation, man, they're on it, they're ready, and I'm excited for their future and what they can do. I mean, we already seen 22-year-old Amanda Grossman, right?
At the inauguration?
The poet at the inauguration, like just seeing that right there, and just seeing how the students like, oh my God, this girl's not that much older than us.
Yep,
like,
that's huge.
That's huge, bro. That's
time.
huge. So I'm very excited about that, going into Black History Month and further.